Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
It's going to be Rajasthan against Kolkata. We've forgotten that they've been around with such a busy weekend that's gone by so far. Again, for Rajasthan, they're a team that's always been looking good. But let's start with Kolkata, Michael, because after their last couple of games, few question marks starting to creep in after not a bad start to the tournament.
Yeah, and I guess at the top of the order is where they'll be looking for a little bit more consistency. They went with Aaron Finch at the top. His technique looks a little bit all over the place at the minute, with that left side kind of going to mid-wicket, and he's so petrified of getting LBW, but I'm sure they'll give him another outing. I guess it might depend on Sam Billings if he's back from his illness. He had a bit of an illness, whether he comes back into keep, and that means that Aaron might miss out if he is going to be behind the stumps. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, they've got everything. They've got some real good combinations. Andre Russell's in good form. He struck it beautifully in the last game and got them to a decent total, but it was just that decent total that the Sunrisers like chasing. You just need a little bit more from many of those players. Pat Cummins is a real problem for them, because he's obviously had the innings, but he's kind of going at 11s, 12s, and every time he gets the ball in hand. And primarily, you've got Pat Cummins in your side to get wickets and try and go for economy around 7.58. You'd take that if he was getting a wicket or two. I guess they've got Tim Southey that could come in. Will they make that change? So there's a few little decisions that Baz McCullum and his management team will have to make to try and get that performance levels just up by about 10 or 15%.
Yeah, it's really tough calls. Again, if you jump onto their social media, after that second loss, it was Aaron Finch along with Shreyas Iyer and Baz McCullum who was actually doing the talking in the dressing room, telling everyone this is when we come together. When we win, it's fine. But when we lose, that's the time to come, not point fingers, but let's do it as a unit. So he's obviously senior. Pat Cummins is very senior, captain of Australia, yet both of them are candidates to be dropped. How hard a call is that?
Yeah, this is the IPL, isn't it? I mean, you look at some of the players that sit on the bench, you look at the price tags that have been bought, and then they're just running drinks. But the balance of getting your 4 internationals and trying to ensure you've got what you need from top orders, all-rounders, your fast and your spin bowlers. Sometimes some of the best players are sitting on the dugout. That's why we love the IPL. So we've seen it time and time again that it doesn't matter what your name is and what you've done historically. If you're not up to scratch and there's someone else within that squad, they might get the nod ahead of you.
Let's look at Rajasthan now. That's a very, very strong, very settled lineup. The only surprise for me was seeing Jimmy Neesham come in there. But of course, we're expecting Trent Boult to be back, hopefully, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, Bolt's the key. If Bolt's back, I think he brings so much quality. That option of getting wickets at the start, he can bowl pretty much any time in the 20 overs, and he's so consistent. And also, if you notice with Trent Boult, what you have the Rajasthan Royals, generally it's Trent Boult at mid-off or mid-on, and Joss Buttler at mid-on and mid-off. They've got two experienced heads that are just kind of into the bowlers, just having a little chat here and there, making sure the angles are right. So you've almost got 3 captains. You've got the triangle in place for the Rajasthan Royals. You've got Sanju behind the stumps, and then you got Buttler and you got Trent Boult. It's a good combination.
So we call it the Bermuda Triangle, and anything in between that, the batters, they just disappear.
It's quite a big triangle, isn't it? From New Zealand to London to Sanju. Where's Sanju from?
Down south in Kerala.
Down south. It's an almighty triangle.
Well, actually, now that you mention that, it's exactly like the triangle we've got right here on the show on Cricbuzz Live. Yeah. We're going from Sydney to up north in England and right here in the eastern part of India. So not as big, but yeah, geographically almost as big. There you go. Bermuda Triangle. We'll find another name for this one.
One thing that I do want to highlight is Shimron Hetmeyer. I think he's done really well for them. We've got 2 big hitters that are kind of facing off at the death. Shimron strikes at around that 260. Andre Russell about that 200. So it's going to be who can bowl well at the death if either one of them are going. So It should be another close clash between these two teams.